Let's talk more about Joe Biden, because he has some regrets, wishes he had done some things differently. Now that he is on the doorstep of walking out of the White House, he's looking back and saying, hey, what could I have done differently? And the main thing seems to be he wishes he would have stayed in the race. He thinks he could have won with some of the reports over the weekend. Somewhat delusional that he thinks he could have won. Because, I mean, he did give us all this evidence when he took the stage in that debate against Donald Trump.
That $2 trillion tax cut benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. I mean, billionaires in America. If they just paid 24% or 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 million, billion dollars, I should say, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden.
And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
That was the moment. That was, and look, the struggling, the losing his train of thought, and then like we finally beat Medicare, very, very strange thing. And the problem that just comes back to mind, guys, is we were told leading up to that moment, aggressively, indignantly, that man was not only perfectly fine in that moment, right. He was suited and ready to go for 4 more years.
And in
That's
control.
what they told us, right? In control, sharp as a tack, all of that nonsense. And then the lie, which was clearly a lie to many of us for quite some time, totally disintegrated over a span of about 20 or 25 minutes on that debate stage. That's why I think, Joe Biden's sort of an ornery guy in some respects. He's very proud. I'm sure he does believe that he could have stayed in the race and not been forced out and could have won. But delusional, I think, is the right word there. Kamala Harris was untalented and a terrible candidate, but she lost less badly than he would have, because the American people, 70 million tuned into that debate, they saw that person and said there is no way he can be president for 4 more years. He would have lost badly, I think.
I just remember going back to this summer and the way this whole thing played out. So there was this debate, then there was rumor about whether Joe Biden would stay in the race. Then George Clooney comes out with the op-ed that was the first knife in the back. After just 2 months earlier, he told the country at that fundraiser with Obama that Joe Biden's fine. He should be the next president. He's totally fit to continue on this race. You should all give millions of dollars to keep him on the campaign trail against Donald Trump. Biden said, no, I'm staying in. Then you started seeing additional people coming out and saying it's time to go. Nancy Pelosi was circling the wagons. You had Barack Obama doing it. You had Adam Schiff doing it. And as Joe Biden continued to double down and make the single case, show me polling that shows that Kamala Harris is a better candidate than I am against Trump, and I will drop out of the race. They couldn't do it. And eventually the pressure got so high that he resigned from the campaign trail through a letter that was put out on a Sunday afternoon on X, and we didn't hear from him for 24 hours. So there wasn't a lot of explanation about why. After for weeks he was saying, I'm not leaving the race, I can beat Trump, I'm a better candidate. And now the Washington Post is reporting it this way. They're saying, quote, in private, Biden has also said he should have picked someone other than Merrick Garland as his attorney general, complaining about the Justice Department's slowness under Garland in prosecuting Trump and its aggressiveness in prosecuting Biden's son, Hunter. So while all this is going on with him being exposed at the debate for his mental acuity, his son, Hunter, is going to be on trial for a number of felonies. And at this time, he's still insisting he's not going to pardon him, which, of course, we all know was not true either.
So he's laying his cards on the table as well. The lawfare was designed to affect the electoral hopes of Donald Trump. And he's saying, Merrick Garland didn't press the issue enough, or I would have won. Soon enough, fast enough, hard enough. And if you had Merrick Garland, he has regrets apparently now about Merrick Garland, then I might have won. I mean, you have explained exactly what we all accused you of for some time. You're using the justice system, weaponizing it in pursuit of a political end.
So if he had put him in prison, federal prison, before the Supreme Court could have come down with the immunity ruling that they did in June, That's Biden's argument, that he would have been able to win this election,
right,
which is insane and anti-American.
Reportedly complaining enough to enough people behind the scenes that this is now leaking out to the Washington Post. His one, aside from getting out of the race, his one biggest regret is having an attorney general who didn't prosecute his opponent fast enough and who did prosecute his criminal son. And he's saying it openly.
Right.
So the game is sort of over at this point, right? And so he's dishing out his pardons and grousing on his way out the door. And I think there's a reason why his approval ratings are absolutely in the toilet right now. He has very much earned them.
And what does Joe Biden do when he leaves office on January 20th, right? I mean, the Democratic Party is looking forward to him leaving.
Well, he can finally take a break and go to the beach.
He can finally take a vacation, maybe. But what a legacy there.
Yeah.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.